Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Quick Break Games, where we cover everything LEGO gaming. In this video, we're going to be talking about LEGO games and the whole voice acting versus mumblings / grunts debate. So if you didn't know, in the early LEGO games, the TT LEGO games, the LEGO characters in the game didn't actually talk or have any dialogue. They did have some sort of a voice because they would like mumble and grunt, and it was often used for like comedic effect. And this was pretty much the case from all the LEGO games from 2005 through 2011, so it was done for about 6 years, and this included like the first two LEGO Star Wars games, the complete saga LEGO Star Wars, which combined those first two games into one big game. We had Indiana Jones 1 and 2, we had LEGO Batman 1, we had Pirates of the Caribbean in 2011, and then we had the two Harry Potter games, Harry Potter's years 1 through 4 and 5 through 7, I believe. And all those LEGO games did not have voice acting, like all the cutscenes were just kind of shown to kind of go along with the film, but they never actually had the dialogue from the film or anything like that. And they had like funny grunt noises that the Legos would make. I think they started to make more noises as like the LEGO games went on. Like if you go play the original LEGO Star Wars, they don't make as much noise as some of the later like 2011 games. So there's a lot of people who prefer back when the Legos didn't talk and they just kind of mumbled around and things like that, because the use of mumbling instead of proper voices allows for unique comedic moments that can't really be done when the characters talk and have actual dialogue. So for example, in like the LEGO Star Wars games, there's lots of funny moments where the characters don't talk, but there's tons of funny things they can do with the different noises that they make. So like in the opening cutscene of LEGO Star Wars 1, like for the negotiations mission, there's this cutscene where there's these two Naboo guards and their ship gets destroyed. So they look down, they realize they're not sitting on anything anymore, and they both kind of make this hilarious scream as they fall down. There's also this funny moment in the pod racing level of episode 1 where Obi-Wan's trying to fix their ship on Tatooine, and it's funny seeing him struggle, and he's like whacking the little piece on the ship. And then he ends up whacking it too hard, and then the whole thing just falls apart, and then you hear him make like a little, oh. It's very goofy. And then there's also the moment in LEGO Star Wars 2 when Darth Vader, in the movie, Darth Vader reveals that he's Luke Skywalker's father, but in the game, instead of, he can't really say that out loud, right? So in the game, he actually just shows him a picture of Luke, and like you see Padme in the picture, and it's pretty funny. It's great because it gets the same point across as the movie, but it's done in a funny way. And something like this is kind of unlikely to happen when you have voice acting in a LEGO game, so there's definitely some different types of humor you can have when you don't have voice acting, like in the older LEGO games. So this style of comedy was pretty much used throughout all the LEGO games until 2012 with the release of LEGO Batman 2 DC Superheroes. This was the first time proper voice acting was given to all the characters in a LEGO game, so this was a big change. They made a big deal about it before the game was coming out. So at this point, the LEGO games were getting bigger and bigger. I'm assuming the budgets for these LEGO games were getting bigger as well, so I'm guessing this allowed them to have extra money for voice actors. Maybe this is something they always wanted to do, but before they just didn't have the budget for it. I'm not really sure. I guess I'd have to ask somebody from TT Games. But yeah, this was a big deal when they added voice acting. So the voice acting allows for more complex storytelling so that TT could more easily tell their own original stories, like in LEGO Batman 2. For the games that were based off of movies or films, it allowed them to follow the movie source material more closely. For other games like Lord of the Rings and Jurassic World and things like that, they could actually pull dialogue straight from the movies.
I want tasers on full charge.
And I think most people consider this to be kind of a negative thing when they started ripping dialogue from the movies, including myself, because it can be kind of jarring. Like, as you can easily notice a drop in the voice quality, because there will be a bunch of normal voice acted lines in the game, and then it'll play a clip from the movie, and you can like easily tell because the quality drops insanely, especially for like the games that are based on movies that are older, like Jurassic Park. Like they're pulling dialogue from like the 1993 movie, and it definitely sounds off because they're also trying to edit out the background noises, because it's not like they have like a specific audio stem of like just the dialogue from the movie. Like they're just taking it from the movie itself, so there's like background noises in there as well that they need to edit out, so I think that probably lowers the quality as well. So I think overall most people do not like it when they rip the dialogue from the movies. But overall, I think the mumbling and the voice acting in LEGO games both have their advantages and disadvantages. Like the mumbling, you can have kind of a unique style of humor. I think you can make some funny moments, like you can kind of play off the movies a little bit and change things up a bit more. Whereas the voice acting, you can obviously do a lot more complex stories, and you can tell jokes within the voice acting as well, but I don't think it's good when they start ripping lines from the movie just because the audio quality drops, especially when it's mixed in with proper voice acting. So obviously the best compromise in this would be just to have an option for both. Now this is rumored for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. At the time of me recording this video, we don't know for sure if it's going to have an option to disable the voice acting. That TT Games has actually hinted at this. I guess when they revealed the game back at E3 last year, there was a lot of people that wanted the classic LEGO Star Wars where there wasn't any voice acting. So TT Games actually came out with a tweet, I believe, and they teased that, you know, they were looking into having an option not for voice acting. The problem with this is it's going to take a lot of work, because when they add voice acting, they do all the cutscenes around that. So like they have to have the characters talk and things like that. They're talking to each other. And then to remove that seems like it would be a ton of work, because then you'd have to redo all the cutscenes for the mumbling. I think a lot of people just think it's like an easy thing where they can just remove the voices and just add some mumbling, but it's going to be a lot more work than that. So I'm not totally sure how they're going to do that, if they're going to do all the cutscenes twice or something like that. It would definitely be a ton of work. Since having an option for both isn't really viable in most circumstances, I think a good compromise would be to have voice acting for the LEGO games that tell an original story and Mumbles for the franchise-based games, since we already know how the story goes from those franchises or those movies. So I think when they're telling their own original story, like LEGO Batman 2 or LEGO Batman 3 or something like that, when they're creating the story from the ground up, same thing with like LEGO Marvel Superheroes, I think it's good to have voice acting in those games, because that way they can tell the story a little bit better and explain things. But I think when you're basing a LEGO game off of a movie, I think it makes sense not to have voices, because you can just watch the movie if you need to know what's happening, and they can kind of put a funny spin on it when you just have mumblings. But overall, what do you think about the voice acting versus mumblings debate? Do you prefer the voice acting in LEGO games, or do you prefer the mumbling and the grunts? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of this video, if this was kind of a good analysis of the whole situation. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Be sure to subscribe and be notified when the newest LEGO game content comes out. We got Skywalker Saga coming up here in just a few months, so stay tuned for that. And we also are doing a walkthrough of LEGO Star Wars 2 in preparation for Skywalker Saga, so lots of good content coming up on this channel. So subscribe for all that, and I will see you guys next time here on Quick Break Games.